and welcome back to Women's Biz Tribe Next Level Success Summit. I am so thrilled to have you joining us, our next speaker. But first of all, I just want to thank you so much for all the engagement that we've been having on our different platforms. We've been on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. We've just been having all these fantastic comments from people around the world tuning into our summit. We've got 44 speakers who have just been dazzling so far, so inspiring, so encouraging, and I'm just loving the practicality that they have brought, those little steps that you can actually implement straight away. All of you are getting complimentary membership to Women's Biz Tribe, so I look forward to seeing you online at any of our daily events very, very soon. But without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to María Tomás-Keegan. She is a multi-certified career and life coach who specializes in helping women navigate career and life changes. And I'm assuming many of you listening in are at that sort of stage. She is often termed the master of reinvention and is super passionate about coaching and mentoring women who struggle to find meaning and purpose in their careers and life. She's multi-award winning. She's a speaker, an author. She is also the host of her podcast, Tips for the Transition and the Career Roadmap. So you've probably seen her on many, many platforms before. Welcome to the summit, María.
Thank you so much, Annie. I'm so delighted to be here. It's so nice to see you again.
You too. It's just such a joy, isn't it, when we just keep coming back into each other's paths and we're both just doing what we're passionate about. And I totally love that. I find soul sisters around the world daily. So let me start by asking you, we are called Women's Biz Success Summit. So I'd love for you to tell me, what does success mean to you?
Oh boy, loaded question. I have thought about that a lot over the years. And to be honest with you, my definition of success has changed as I've evolved. When I started my career, it was probably what most people equate to success. And it was influenced by what others taught me to believe success was. It was a good position with opportunity for growth, making a certain amount of money, having a lovely home in a good neighborhood, a wonderful marriage, and being a good person. But when I had all that, I felt something was missing, and I just couldn't understand why I wasn't happy. And that's when I began to examine what success looked like for me at each stage of my life. We all evolve. And I painted a very different picture. And this might seem idyllic for some of our audience, but now I think of success as having a contented heart, peace of mind, harmony in my life, doing things that light me up with passion, making an impact in people's lives, making a difference, and bringing value to my relationships, all of them, in business and personal. And waking up with a smile on my face and choosing to make it a great day. So in a nutshell, my happiness now is the overall measure of success for me. And I think we all must define what success means on our own terms, achieved by our own rules, and build a life that we're proud of and leaving a legacy of love behind.
Beautifully communicated, and such an interesting journey, isn't it? That you sound like the definition of success that you had was very much probably predetermined by what was told to you, what was given to you, when you're young. To be successful, you've got to have the right career, and you've got to be a good person, and you've got to marry the right person, and have lovely, perfect children, and do all these things. And it's really interesting when many people just go tick, 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 tick. I've sort of done everything I can. But that's right, that little missing link, and then realizing as you get older, oh my gosh, I'm really going going to have my own definition, and it's got to be right for me.
Yeah.
Which makes me ask you next then. So have you achieved success at the moment?
That's a fair question. Even though it might seem idyllic, I discovered that my definition is possible. And I learned that my evolution over time led me to reinvent myself many times, so I could get closer each time to my ideal happy place. And I'm still working on it. We're all works in progress, right? But I'm close. And the journey never ends, thankfully, until it does, which is a good thing compared to the alternative, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my goodness. I think we're constantly striving for that. And then probably it also changes, as we grow and evolve, it's a constantly changing space anyway of what we're actually, who we're becoming, what that definition redefines itself as. There's so many factors there. So
Right.
what does it take for someone to find their happy place? You're looking for your happy place. I'm trying to find mine. What do you find with the people that you're working with is the most important thing that they need to be pursuing?
Yeah, I love that question because I've been dying to answer this way. It depends. It depends on who you are. And as you just said, and who you want to become, what you care about, and what you want. And that evolves as we evolve. But it takes a great deal of introspection and self-evaluation and figuring out what has shifted, making you want to find a happier place than where you are today. But it starts there. Unfortunately, along that journey, there are some negative emotions surrounding our desire to change things. We might feel fed up. We might be scared. We might be disappointed or dissatisfied, like we're on a hamster wheel, or maybe it's like Groundhog's Day. But we keep going through the motions, but nothing changes. Each of those individually is a sign that something isn't right in your world, and you might want to pay attention. But if more than one of those things is happening, you definitely want to take notice, because you might be on the verge of burnout. And if you let things go too far before addressing the situation, you might get stuck where you don't belong.
That is such an interesting phrase, stuck where you don't belong. I'd love you to just give us some more information about, well, what does that mean, stuck where you don't belong?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to peel that back for you for a minute. Getting stuck means you're in one place, right? And you can't move forward. You might be able to dig yourself deeper in that place, but that's not such a good idea. Or you might look back, kind of see where you came from, and start repeating the old patterns and habits that got you stuck in the first place. But that's not helpful either. But moving forward, getting out of the rut, that's what you desire, right? Getting out of the rut. So staying stuck in the rut is somewhere you don't belong, because you desire something else. And we all have the ability to make choices that can move us up and out.
Yeah. And that moment when you go, I know I don't like where I am. I'm feeling frustrated. I am definitely feeling stuck. This is not right for me. I desire it. But there can be a disconnect between the desire and the doing, the stepping stone, right? So when we say you all have a choice, we definitely have a choice in every single thing that we do.
Yeah.
But how do we make choices that move us up and out?
So I think that goes back to what I said earlier about what it takes to find your happy place. It's a discovery or a rediscovery process. Many times we have been where we, or in a similar place where we want to be again. So in that case, it might be a rediscovery. But first, you have to get curious about who you are now that things are changing, now that you are evolving. The situation has changed, and you're thinking about things differently than you did before. Your values might be shifting, and what's most important to you now needs to be a priority over what used to be important to you. Then you need to find out what you want next. Figure that out. What is it you want next? Having an idea of what that looks like in your happy place. Things like, who's with you? What are you doing for work? Where do you live? What are you passionate about pursuing? How do you want to feel? When you know those things, then you kind of know what your next destination is. And like you said before, this changes over time. So we keep going. These are called transitions. These are the things that draw us forward. But when we have a crystal clear vision of what it is we want next, that's the vision that starts to create momentum for you. And with direction and purpose and a goal, you can then start to map it out and choose to take one small step after another. And that's how you start the journey to move up and out when you're stuck, so you don't stay where you don't belong.
Exactly. One step, little steps, just towards the direction that you're wanting to go, towards the vision, the future that you desire, right? I think there's also, you've got to have that desire and you've got to really want it. But I think you said you've got to prioritize it, right? And I think that is definitely required. It needs to have some sense of urgency, right? Because I think we normalize and start accepting, this situation that we know is not the best for us. We know it brings us down, but we then, by accepting and normalizing it suddenly takes that urgency to change. So I think when you make that sort of commitment to go, yes, I do want to be this person, I do want to move into this space, and I'm going to make those steps as you've clearly outlined, I think it really does just give you that impetus. And hopefully this Success Summit will be the impetus for people to suddenly go, from today, from tomorrow, I'm actually going to make those steps. So if you were able to now give us 3 tips, let's help this audience make this really practical. Those people who are sitting there going, you know what, I feel stuck, I feel a bit overwhelmed, I feel a bit disillusioned, and I want to have 3 tips that are going to help me from now really, move up, move out, move into this new space that is actually going to become my happy place.
Yeah, thank you. I would love to share some tips. The first one is a multi-part tip, and you might want to get a pen and paper out for this, because I'm going to ask you 3 probing questions, and I suggest that you write them down and then take some time to write your answers and physically write them, because there's more power in the exercise when you do. So the first question is, what do I want that I don't have today? What do I want that I don't have today? And then the second question is, what or who am I afraid of losing if I get what I want? That fear of loss can be something that holds us back. So what or who am I afraid of losing if I get what I want? And then the third question is, how will I feel when I get what I want? And this is important. And who else will benefit? So how will I feel when I get what I want? And who else will benefit? So those questions will begin to reveal who you are now and what's important to you. And that's the first step out of the rut.
Absolutely. Such great questions. I hope everyone's been writing those down. And if you've missed it, you can watch replay on this session. So important. I love that final bit that you finished with. How will it make you, the effect on you and others? And that's it. We don't realize the impact and influence we are having on other people around us. And at the end of the day, my husband has this beautiful, phrase, happy wife, happy life, mummy not happy, nobody happy. He's always said these sorts of funny phrases, and I actually think he's spot on, right? Because when you have all these reasons of why you can't change or can't, you get sort of stuck in those sort of doldrums, if you like. But when you do strive to stay in that happy place, chase that happy place, find it for you, that it's not only obviously a fantastic result for you personally, but everyone around you benefits. It's quite phenomenal. Not just partners, not just kids, friends will notice, your work will notice, your output and your productivity will escalate, right? It's just a no-brainer. And it's so like once you've actually taken those steps, and you must notice that in the people that you coach, when they've taken these big, what to them feels like a massive step, and then when they look back, they were like, oh my gosh, I'm like a whole new person. I feel so free. I don't have the weights. I'm over worried about the what ifs, and I would never go back there. Right? Do you find that?
Absolutely. I think that we are role models and we are mirrors for others, so that when someone that, especially those that we are closest to, sees us on this journey of becoming a better person, someone that we feel more aligned to than who we were before, it can't help but affect others. And then then you become a mirror for them, and they look at themselves differently and they go, what can I change? How is she doing that? And what can I do to be better like that? And then it starts a ripple effect that is powerful.
Yeah. It is so powerful, so powerful. For those of you watching in, you've written those questions down. I'd love you to actually repeat the questions, because now people have been processing them. I want you to be writing them down as Maria says them again. And I want you to really start thinking, pop in the chat wherever you're watching this, if you've got some, even make a proclamation, I want to feel this way. I know this will be good for me. Really put it out to the universe, right? You don't have to share all your personal things. Definitely write them. Start journaling your responses. Bring it to Women's Biz Tribe, and really start connecting with people who've got your back and will encourage and cheer you on. But what were those 3 questions again, Maria?
I'll be happy to share them, and I love that idea. We can continue the conversation on your platform. I think that's a brilliant idea. I would love to do that. Right. So the first of the questions this is just my first tip, by the way. So the first question is, what do I want that I don't have today? Mm-hmm. And the second one is, what or who am I afraid of losing? Yeah. If I get what I want. And then the third one is, how will I feel when I get what I want, and who else will benefit? Fantastic questions. All right. So everyone, I know if you've written them down, really start brainstorming, get them in front of your mind, and do not waver from that. Just go, yep, if that resonated with you now, I want you to start writing your responses. All right. Tip number 2. Give us another tip. Tip number 2. Okay. This is simple, but not easy. Cut yourself a break. This evolving stuff, becoming someone different, better, changing, all of that. It takes time. And there are lots of twists and turns, emotional roller coaster rides, the highs, the lows, the ebbs, the flows. You've heard it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being kind to yourself is essential. And finding ways to relax and give yourself grace when the going gets tough is critical to making this a successful journey. We're at the Success Summit. So this is all about making a successful journey to changing to who you want to become.
Yeah.
That's tip number 2.
Because it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be work, right? It's like, it's for people who are feeling overwhelmed, it's like, oh, here's another big job. Now I've got to work on myself. That's right. But by doing it at the pace that's right for you, to be refreshing your, rethinking that whole concept of self-care, pacing yourself, finding out what you want, small stepping stones every day with people who are backing you and cheering you on. Absolutely. It's not work then. It's absolutely a delight because you get the buzz, you get the adrenaline kicks in and go, oh my gosh, I've got this. And everyone else around is like, yeah, you got this.
Yeah. It's all about creating new habits, right? Mm-hmm. Changing the patterns that we've had before and creating some new habits. And if we do that in small doses and not try to make such a substantial change right away, just do very small doses. Eventually it will take hold and it will become who you want to be. Those habits.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Let's have a tip number 3.
Last one. Don't take this road alone. We are not put on this earth to do anything alone. So surround yourself with people you trust, with whom you can be honest, and who have your back. These people will tell you the truth, and they'll encourage you to keep putting that one foot in front of the other, keep you motivated, keep you moving, and pick you up when you fall, and be there to celebrate with you when you win. Surrounding yourself with those kinds of people in your inner circle, in your first class cabin, on your front row, whatever you want to call it. And I call it your personal board of directors.
Nice.
Those people will help you through this journey and be there for you whenever you need them.
And it's so important to have them, right? How many times do people sort of go, oh, well, I'm not able to move it because the people around me are not cheering me on. They're bringing me down. They're not the right influences for me. And that's exactly why, it's not as if you've got to suddenly ditch your friends, but it's this intentional action to start saying, yeah, but how about we reprioritize the time and the space that you spend with people? What enters your mind? What enters your thoughts? And which is a pure reason why when I created Women's Biz Tribe, that concept of going, imagine having a global tribe of women who actually their biggest joy is to cheer you on. They're going to actually be honest with you, and they'll keep you accountable. It's like the best cheerleader and accountability partner, right? It's like, you said you want to do this. I want you to do it. You go, girl. And then also, if you're struggling, I'm here for you. It is hard. Let's just work together. Let's try some new things. Don't give up. I absolutely love the power of, the collaborative concept of woman, right? And I know men are in this summit as well, and you're welcome to join us on that. But just the collaboration over competition, the surrounding yourself with partners who are actually going to be on your team, cheering for you, and not just cheer on the person that you have been. That's all great, but the person that you actually are evolving into, the person that you are becoming, the person who is going to, one day want to look back and go, I had these hopes and dreams in my heart, and I actually fulfilled all of them or most of them, and I'm really happy about that. It's like, try and intentionally put those people into your world. I think that's just a top tip for you from Maria today.
Yeah, I think that's so right. So many people, many of my clients will say, but how do I remove myself from the people who drag me down?
Yeah.
And, you said it. It's like you just prioritize your time because it's your time.
Yes.
And you have a goal. There's something you want to achieve. So just don't spend as much time with those people who drag you down until it's your choice to do that, knowing that this is going to be a time that you can choose how you respond to that, right? But
Yes.
you prioritize your time with the people who will lift you up more than with those who drag you down. And very often they're members of our family, right? And we can't not see them, but we can choose how we think about ourselves when we see them.
Yes, and that is a brilliant response to that too. That some of these people, there's nothing wrong with going, yeah, this person is my best friend or my dear family member. However, you can then not choose to. All their feedback isn't necessarily right for you, and so you can actually go through that journey of going, I can still love you, I can still adore you, I can still respect you for your views on things, but they may or may not resonate with me at this time, and that is okay. That is fine. It doesn't mean that they can't be in your world. As you get stronger, it's amazing that you can actually go, yeah, we just agree to disagree, and we can be the best of buds, but those people who are on your page, it means that those people, when you're working for something, striving for something, asking for feedback, you actually want to intentionally be surrounded by those people so that they can do that, so they can serve you in that way, and you will be a blessing to them in return.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. We could chat all day, Maria, but we are heading out of time. I have absolutely loved your sharing with us today. So thank you.
Thank you for having me, Annie.
And I look forward to you sharing again at our next summit.
That's right. We will. Paths will cross again. I know it.
Definitely.